Now on to step 2, which is the corners. These corner pieces right here, we're going to put them in where they go. Now first, let me tell you what corner piece goes right here. Well, obviously it's going to have to be white, so white's going to have to be right there. Now, so white's going to have to be on the bottom here, so what color's going to have to be right here? This green center is where the green is going to be once the cube is solved. So this has to be green. So obviously this has to be orange. Now this is already orange, but as you can see, this is not green and this is not white. So it's not the right piece. Now we're going to look for the piece that is correct. So we're going to look for a corner piece, which is a piece that has 3 colors. We're going to look for a corner piece that has orange, green, and white on it. And as you can see, it is right here. Now since it's in this top layer here, I forgot to mention that from now on, you're going to keep your white cross on the bottom. Don't need to have it on the top anymore to look at it. You could just keep it on the bottom now. Now, since this is already in the top layer, sometimes it's down here. But since it's already up here, in this layer that we can move without messing up our white cross, what we're going to do is we're going to... Sorry about that. Goodness. Kicked my camera a little bit. We're going to move it over directly above where it goes, which is right here, because it goes down here, so it's going to come down like this. Now, we could just rotate it down and think we'd be jolly good, but that would mess up our white cross, obviously. So there's a small algorithm you need to know in order to put in this corner. Now, this corner is a specific algorithm because the white is on the F side. So, excuse me, not the F side, but it's not on the top. It's not on the right. You could say it's on the left if you hold it like this, but when you hold the cube so that it's facing, so that your corner is on the right, so that your corner is over here on the right, if white is facing you, you do this algorithm. You go F prime, U prime, F. And that'll put that down there while matching up this and this and this. We're going to look for another corner. So we have the blue, red, white. Now we're always looking for corners that have white on it. So we're looking for blue, red, and white. So we're going to move that directly above where it goes, which is right here. Because that's the corner where white, blue, and red intersect, is right there. Now since it's facing towards us again, we're going to do the same algorithm. F prime, U prime, F. And move it right down into there. Now we have another corner right here, the orange, blue, and white. So we're going to move that corner directly above where it goes, which is right here. It goes right there because that's orange, blue, and white. The corner, blue is going to be right there, orange is going to be right there, white is going to be right there. But in this case, white is not facing us. So where is white? Well, it's not on the top, it's on the right side here. Since white is on the right, you do this algorithm. R, U, R prime. And that'll put that right down into there. Let me do that one more time. R. Remember, you're holding your corner so that it's on the top layer and on the right side. You go R, U, R prime. And that'll put that right in there. Now we're going to look for our last corner, and as you can see, oh no, it's not in the top here. We do not have any white corners in the top. All we have is yellow corners. So where could it be? Well, it's already in its correct spot, just incorrectly flipped. So that if we could just flip this corner, just flip it really hard, because it's in the correct spot, because green, red, white, green, red, white. So it's where it needs to go, it's just incorrectly oriented. So what we need to do is we need to get it up here. Now how are we going to do that? Well, all we need to do is replace it with a corner from up here. So all we need to do is get this corner down here. So we can just do our last algorithm that we did, go R, U, R prime. And that'll put that corner down there. It doesn't matter what colors are where, because this corner already is going to go up here because it has yellow on it. So just put it down at the bottom, R, U, R prime, like our last algorithm. You could also do the other one, F prime, U prime, F, do the same thing. It's just, I think, R, U, R prime is easier to do. So we're going to take that, put it down here. So now, we have our white corner up in the top. And we can move it around to directly above where it goes, which is right here. Now in this case, white is on the top. There's one last different algorithm we have to do when it's not here or it's not here. So when the white is on the top, you're going to perform the following algorithm, which is a little bit longer than the first two, but don't worry, you'll get it. It's pretty easy. It's RU2, which means you rotate the top layer twice because the top layer is U. You move it 2 times. Now you can move it 2 times clockwise or 2 times counterclockwise, both do the exact same thing. So you go RU2, R prime, U prime, R, U, R prime. And that'll put that right down there. So now you have your whole white side that matches up, so you should have little T-shapes on each of your centers and your edges and your corners here. Okay, real quick, we're just going to go through one more putting in your corners. So first, let's look for a corner. It's on the top here, because we're keeping our cross on the bottom. And we have the white, red, blue. So we put it right above the white, red, and blue, which is right here. But that's not the right corner, this one is. So we put it right above it. Since white is on the top, we go R, U2, R prime, U prime, R, U, R prime. Now I advise you to write down this algorithm that appears on your screen because it will help you memorize if you can learn it off of a piece of paper. So, let's go to another corner. We have white, blue, orange. So that goes right here because that's the blue, the white, and the orange. So it goes right there where they all intersect. So we're going to put it directly above where it goes, which is right here. Since white is on the top, we'll hold the corner on the top right here. We'll go R, U2, R prime, U prime, R, U, R prime. I'll put it right in. Now, we have 2 corners left, this one and this one. Now this one's not correct because these do not match up. As you can see, this does, but these two do not. So that's not the right one because that's the red, green, white, which goes right here with the red, green, and white. This piece goes over there. So what we need to do is replace it with a corner from up here. So we can do our RU, R prime. That'll get this one out from back under here. Put it directly over where it goes, which is right here. And since it's on the right, we're going to hold it on the top up here, on the right side, and go R, U, R prime. And as you can see, that puts that right down there. We have one last corner, and it is already directly above where it goes because that is the white, red, green. White, red, green goes right here. It's already directly above where it goes. White is facing towards us. It's on the F side, so you go F prime, U prime, F, and we are cooking. We have our white side. Now the next step is fairly easy, considerably easy compared to putting in the corners, and that is putting in these edge pieces right here. So we're going to need an edge that has red and green to go right here. Then we're going to need to have an edge that has orange and green to be right here, blue and orange right here, and blue and red, which already happens to be right here, correctly oriented, so we don't need to worry about that one. So first what you're going to do is you're going to find an edge that does not have yellow on it in your top layer. Remember, your cross and your white face is on the bottom now. So you're going to find an edge that does not have yellow on it, like this blue-orange. All you're going to do is you're going to match it up with its center. So if we have this one, red, green, we're going to match that up with the green center right here. Not the red one because it's not going to touch the red. If we bring it over here, the colors need to be touching. So the green touches the red in it. The green touches the green center in this case. So for this case, blue is going to touch the blue center. Now since it needs to come toward us, it needs to come right here because orange, blue, orange, blue. Since it needs to come toward us, we're going to do this algorithm. Now you're going to have to make sure that your piece is on the right side if it's coming toward you. If it's going away from you, we'll do a different algorithm. But if it's coming toward you, you go R prime, U prime, R prime, U prime, R prime, U, R, U, R. And that puts that right in there where it goes. Let's look for another one. We have the green and the orange. Now it's already matched up with its center, so it needs to come away from us. So we're still going to hold it in the top on our right hand side, in the middle here, but we're going to do a different algorithm. We're going to go, since it needs to go away from us over here, it needs to go down there, we go R, U, R, U, R, U prime, R prime, U prime, R prime. And as you can see, it put it nicely in right there. So we're going to look for another one that doesn't have yellow on it, like this one, this green, red. Now, since by rotating the top, the red is never going to match up with the red center because it's on the top here. We need to match up the other one, which is the green, so we match it up with the green center, and it needs to come toward us. So you need to do the algorithm that we already did 2 times ago, which is R prime, U prime, R prime, U prime, R prime, U, R, U, R. That puts that one right in. Since we already had this one done, we have our first 2 layers of the cube solved. Alright, real quick, we're just going to go through one more time. So let's look for an edge piece that does not have yellow. And that would be this one. It could be red and blue. So we're going to match that up with its center, which is right over here. Red matches up with red. Since it needs to come toward us, because it needs to come to this blue right here, so it needs to be right there. We go R prime, U prime, R prime, U prime, R prime, U, R, U, R. Puts it right there. Let's go to another one. We have orange and green. So we'll match that up with its center, which is right there. And it needs to come towards us again. So we go R prime, U prime, R prime, U prime, R prime, U, R, U, R. That'll put it right in there. Let's go for another one. Red, green. So we'll match that up with its center there. Now this one needs to go away from us because it does not go right here. Because green is going to have to match up with the green, not with the blue. So it has to go this way over here. So you go R, U, R, U, R, U prime, R prime, U prime, R prime. That'll put that right in there. Now, I didn't go over this before, but what if you have an edge in here that is in the right spot, because orange and blue, but it's incorrectly flipped? In that case, all you need to do is replace it with another edge. So we're going to replace it with this one. So since we need this edge to come toward us, because we want it to be right here, we go R prime, U prime, R prime, U prime, R prime, U, R, U, R. So now that edge is in there, which means our edge that we need is up top here. So we just match that up with the center, and since that needs to go away from us now, because it needs to come down here, we go R, U, R, U, R, U prime, R prime, U prime, R prime. And that puts it in there. So we have our first 2 layers, and our first 3 steps of the cube done.